What is good, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Undiluted Media Football Show. I am your host, Toni Afoke. You already know by now what is going on. We've got a lot of football to pack. I've got a lot of running to do. It's been a long weekend, or just a long week, or just maybe a long couple of years for United fans. But before we get onto that, let's start on the Champions League. So, City lost to PSG. They lost 2-0 to PSG. Messi got his first goal for PSG. PSG looked pretty decent, like Idrissa Gana game. I've always said he's a bad man footballer. He looks very good that game, so props to him. If we quickly round up the Champions League in a nutshell, City lost, Chelsea lost, Man United somehow won, and Liverpool were comfortable winners away to Porto. So there's not much to really unpack there. I feel like other than Chelsea losing to Juve, that was a bit of a concern, especially after when they had back-to-back losses, but they won this week, so we can get on further onto that. But I feel like the Man United game, and I will lead off to Man United as well and their weekend. For Man U, we looked worse than the final against Villarreal, in my opinion. And it was weird because if you watch the game, Man United played a 4-3-3, which is what Solskjaer's been saying he wants to do, which is what fans say that we should do. So he played Pogba and Bruno as attacking eights in a 4-3-3. And he played McTominay in the midfield. And thinking about it, if you ask, maybe, if you have a vote of United fans, like, if we had to play 4-3-3, who would your ideal midfield be? And that would probably be it. Pogba, Bruno attacking eights, McTominay holding. But we all know McTominay is not a holding midfielder. He wants that license to run forward and have that late run in the box. He's more of a box-to-box. So it didn't really work. And Villarreal looked the better team once again. Somehow we won that game. Great goal by Alex Telles and then Ronaldo with the 95th minute winner. Somehow we won that game. Somehow we took the 3 points. But Villarreal deserves more, in my opinion. We didn't look... Villarreal just created a lot more chances than us. And we just don't look like we can dominate games. So having saying that game we won, then Solskjaer switched up the squad, went back to a double pivot of McFred. And we all know, I'm not going to rant about McFred because I'll be here all night. And we all know what's going on with McFred. Martial was back in the score sheet. Sancho still looks a bit off. And Man United ended up drawing to Everton 1-1. And it's... Everyone's saying Ollie out and stuff like this, and he's out of his depth and all of that. But Man United this season, in particular, we haven't gone 2-0 up in a game this season. We scored a first goal and then we let teams back into the game, which is weird. Or we concede the first goal and then we try and come back. And it's a weird one because we just... Well, this is the thing. I'm going to tell you why we can't dominate games, because we don't have a defensive midfielder. We don't have that controlling midfielder in our team. No one can do that position. I know people saying, we don't play Van der Beek, but that's not his position. I know he said he'll play 6, 8, 10, but that's because he's desperate and he wants to play, which I don't blame him. If I was a footballer, I would want to play. No one wants to be stuck on the bench. But we just don't have anyone to play that role, to dominate that. Like, the midfield was just non-existent with McFred. Like, their job was to screen for the defence, and even still, Fred was at fault for the goal. Instead of seeing the ball out, kicking it back, he got barged off by Damari Gray, which is just, again, ridiculous. Like, I don't even want to get onto it. But this is the problem with United now. And watching City and Liverpool today, which I'll talk about later on, watching them today just shows me that I don't know how Man United are going to perform in this league at all. Right now they're fourth and they're still 2 points away from the league, 2 points away from the top. So it's nothing too bad. But But I just look at United now and I'm thinking, nah, this isn't it. And I don't even think it's more of a managerial situation. I'm not saying I want Ollie to stay. If he stays, I'm not going to cry. And if he leaves, I'm not going to cry. And I'm not going to gun out for his head and say Ollie out. But what I will say is that we should have signed a midfielder in the summer, because we knew this was our issue. And yes, centre-back, we knew it was an issue. We sorted that out. Right wing was an issue. We sorted that out with Sancho. Well, I don't know. Have we sorted it out with Sancho? Because Sancho keeps playing on the left. He keeps coming on the left. We've barely seen him on the right. And that's practically where we were supposed to play him. So I'm not sure if we sorted out that right wing issue. But I'm just looking at this team now, and we have all these players and all this personnel, and we just don't dominate games. And we can't dominate games with that midfield. And we don't have a defense. Like, the only defensive midfielder we have in that team is Nemanja Matic. No one else is a defensive midfielder. Fred's not a defensive midfielder. He's just not good offensively, so we call him a defensive midfielder. Same goes for McTominay. They're not defense. They're all action midfielders that they're just running around just to be there. They're not a typical defensive midfielder. I need a Rodri. You see how Rodri played today? Or a Fernandinho? That's what Man United, or a Fabinho. That is what Man United need. They need someone to dictate play, sit in front of that back four. And right now, I feel like Matic is the only one that can do it. But I'm sorry, he doesn't have the legs anymore. He's not the same Chelsea Nemanja Matic we once, the Chelsea Nemanja Matic that once was. But I feel like we have no choice. If we want to try win games or win something or win a trophy this season, I'm not worried about winning a trophy because Man United seems like a moments team, right? Like, 95th minute, that was a moment. It wasn't a well-deserved goal. It's not like we were prepping and we finally got the goal in the last minute. That was just a random moment. So I'm not surprised that United... I'm not worried that United can't win a trophy. I'm just saying, league-wise, what the football we're playing now is unsustainable. But that is all I'm going to say on Man United, because I don't want to get too much into it, because, listen, the season's just started. There's a long way to go. We could be in March. United could be top. I'm saying could. United could be top, and then we wouldn't even remember this now. So this is it. But yeah, following the other top teams, Chelsea back to winning ways. You know, I was getting onto Chelsea fans because it was quite concerning that they lost back-to-back games and didn't get a shot on target. But then a nice little win against Southampton, Southampton was comfortable for them. Lost his cheek, played well. I feel like he's back into the side. Tuchel switched it up, and it just goes to show, like, that's the difference between an elite manager, I guess, and the right personnel. Like, Chelsea looked like a good team. Like, look at Saul Niguez, like, he's not even playing. That's a player United could have used. But anyway, I'm not going to get onto United. Chelsea back to winning ways. There's no pressure with Chelsea. Like, everyone knew the back-to-back losses was Juve and City. Like, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Liverpool City. Now, I'm going to say this because I've said this so many times. And this is me coming as a Man United fan. I feel like Mo Salah is the most disrespected player in the Premier League I've ever seen. I feel like this guy is ridiculous. I feel like he's one of the best players in the world. Could be arguably one of the top 5 player in the world, definitely Mo Salah, by far. Like that, if you haven't gone and watched his goal against City, go watch it. Ridiculous. It's Messi-esque. It's absolutely ridiculous for Mo Salah. And that was a good game. That was a game where both teams were attacking. Both teams, like City looks good, and Liverpool look good as well. And that's the level that I'm looking at that game, and I'm thinking, Man United can't do this. Chelsea, yeah, they can go to Anfield and do that. I feel like Man United are going to get spanked at Anfield, but hey ho, we'll see. I can't predict the future. And it's annoying because with Liverpool and City, these are two well-drilled teams, well-drilled sides. These sides know what they're doing. They know the way they play. You don't see that with Man United. Look at me referring everything to Man United. But big ups to Liverpool and City. Like, they're the title favourites, in my opinion. Liverpool looks decent at times. City still look decent. And Chelsea as well will be up there. Well, Chelsea are top at the moment. So we'll see. It's still early days. Leeds beat Watford. Leeds got their first win of the season. And Watford have decided to sack their manager, Xisco Muniz, once again. It's a weird one because Watford are like Chelsea in a sense that they just love sacking managers. And this is Watford's sixth different manager since 2019 or something like that. And I know they're sponsored by Football Manager, but that's, like, this is not how it works. You can't just keep on sacking managers. Like, what do Watford want? All right, they want to stay up, so they get rid of their manager now. It's not like they haven't been playing too bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, they got that win away to Norwich, which was a 3-1 win, and they've looked decent at times. Like, it's not the end of the world, but Watford love sacking the managers. It's something they love doing. So I don't know, Watford fans. If there's any Watford fans, speak to me, let me know. But I just don't think this is sustainable. But we'll see. If I am tipping them to go down, and I feel like Watford fans are tipping themselves to go down. So we'll see. They've been linked with Claudio Ranieri. I'm not sure. That will be good, obviously, Premier League winner. But will Ranieri hasn't been in a job in a while. Would he want to go? I don't see why not. But then again, I could see him getting sacked too. Like, Watford need to, if they want to stay in the Premier League and establish themselves as a Premier League team, they need to have a plan, stick to that plan and see it through. And if it goes bad, where you're thinking, okay, we can't get out of this rut, then you sack your manager. They just sack the manager just because they're like, okay, cool, we're playing FM, let's do a new save, retire. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they do it, Watford, but each to their own. It's not my club, but hey, if Watford fans enjoy it, then they do. Arsenal go back to being Arsenal. Like, they should have got points. Well, this is the thing. They didn't play well. Brighton dominated that game. And do we have to start giving credit to Graham Potter? Because I feel like people, the hipster football supporters, are trying to all convince me about Graham Potter, say he's a genius. And I took him in once when Brighton played Man City last season, and I was listening to Pep's press conference, and he said Graham Potter's the best. This is when Lampard was still around at Chelsea. So he said Graham Potter's the best English manager in the league. And I was thinking, what? That's mad. Like, considering Lampard was there, considering other people. Anyway, so he said that, and then obviously last season we saw the way Brighton played football. You're thinking, oh yeah, this team can kind of ball. Like, they just couldn't finish. And now they've had a great start to the season. I think they're level on points with Man United and Everton, which is ridiculous enough as it is. So I'm thinking, do we have to start giving credit to Graham Potter? Yes, in a sense that Brighton play good football and Brighton have improved. I can say that. I'm not going to start barking up the wrong tree and saying, oh, you know what, Graham Potter, yeah, get him in my side, get him in. If he could do this at Brighton, he could do this at United. They can be playing good football. Dominating Arsenal, as we all know, is not easy. We've seen teams do it this season time and time again. So I'm not going to use that Arsenal result, and they didn't win. I'm not going to use that Arsenal result as a, you know what, Brighton are a bad boy team. Like, they're here to stay. Like, they're here to do bits. But what I will say is Graham Potter's gotten playing some good football, and I respect that. Their wing-back, Mark Cucurella, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he looks like a very good signing. I like the system they play. They play the three at the back. Well, I don't personally like three at the back, but it works for Brighton. So big ups to Brighton for doing that. I'll give Graham Potter credit in a sense that, yes, he's come to this Brighton side and they've improved and they look like a team that you have to take seriously to an extent. So big ups to Graham Potter. Now, Leicester is another one. This is another manager who, on the contrast, Leicester, they were 2-0 up away to Palace, and Palace came back 2-2. And Leicester haven't looked good this season. There've been a lot of indifferent results. I don't remember the last time they won. Well, they won in the Europa League. And they just look indifferent at the moment. They look weird. They don't look like the Leicester we knew. I'm not sure why. Like, we thought, cool, winning the Community Shield, winning the FA Cup, they will start creating it. Well, but even Brendan Rodgers wanted to say it. He said it himself. He said he wants to create a winning mentality at Leicester, and that's definitely not what they're doing at the moment. He's under no pressure at the moment because I think next they've got Man United. Yeah, I think Man United are away to Leicester next, but after the international break, obviously. So that will be another test for Graham Potter's side, and United could be looking at this and saying Leicester are not at their full strength. But it's a weird one because there's so many questions with Leicester. Like, I don't think did they not win? I think they lost. I'm thinking about their Europa League game now. I think they did lose. Yeah, sorry about that. I feel like they did lose because I remember they brought on Maddison and Vardy. And this thing, James Maddison is out of the team. Like, was it because he was linked with Arsenal during the summer? He hasn't got like a goal assist in his last 20-something games or something like that. Like, he's not in good form. And I thought he would have started the Europa League game. He didn't. And it's a weird one because, like, if he's not in the team, then you want to get them to play Europa League, right? That's where you want them to start building up the match fitness, building up the sharpness and getting back into the side. But I don't know. I think there's more to the James Maddison situation at Leicester than meets the eye, but we'll see. We'll see Leicester. We've got the international break now. Players can chill, train, come back, and we go again. But it's weird. I feel like more big ups to Palace because I want Patrick Vieira to do well. I like that his side came back from 2-0 down. Conor Gallagher looks good. Michael Elise got his first Premier League goal. Bad boy. If anyone watched Reading last season, they'll know what Michael Elise is on. Bad boy. And Palace are playing decent football. Palace are playing decent football under Vieira. Like, they looked decent against West Ham. They dominated Spurs. And Vieira's got them playing good football, and it looks totally different to the football Palace were playing under Roy Hodgson. Like, that one was just, let's survive in the Premier League. Let's just boring, just 4-4-2. But Vieira's got them playing. He's got them balling, and the players want to play for him. I know, as I said in an interview, where Eze hasn't played, obviously, he's still injured. But when he said when Patrick just walks in the room, there's just a presence about him. And as I've said many times on the show, there's nothing like players that want to play for a manager. So, yeah, Palace look good at the moment, especially when Eze comes back as well. They've got an Odsonne Edouard. I think, he hit the crossbar today. He looks pretty decent. And so, yeah, when Palace are a fully healthy team, and they've got people like Elise, Eze, Edouard, Zaha, McArthur, and then Milivojevic, and them, man, like, it's not a bad side when you look at it. It's not a bad side. I do expect them to top 10 mid-table. Nothing wrong with, which is nothing wrong with Palace fans. I think Palace fans will accept that, but they just want to play. They just want to play good football. I feel like the better they get, Conor Gallagher might go back to Chelsea, obviously, because he's having a good season, or try sign him. I don't know. But right now, Palace look good. That's mid-table is probably their ceiling. I'm not going to gas Vieira and say like he's going to get them into a European place. But I don't know. Listen, I wouldn't mind to see Palace in Europe. But what I'm saying is, like, they're all right. They're all right. They're playing better football under Roy Hodgson. So I feel like it's only up for Palace fans. But another team that's playing good football is Brentford. Brentford's got a last-minute winner, Yohan Wissa, once again, the last-minute winner against West Ham, away to West Ham in the London derby. We had West versus East, and the boys from the West won. And you know what? Brentford are a good team, man. They're a good team. Like, I've got to respect Brentford. They create chances. Brian Mbeumo and Ivan Toni. Like, you don't see many people play with two strikers nowadays, and they have a good partnership in Mbeumo and Toni. And it's hard for defenders because they just stick it on them. And Brentford play good football. Like, they genuinely play good football. And I feel like there's, them teams that come up from the Championship look like they already belong, like Leeds last season, right? Came up from the Championship and looked like, and they're here to stay. So expect Brentford to be here for a long time. I don't think Brentford are going to be facing relegation anytime soon. They've got a couple wins already. They look pretty decent. They could, okay, I'm not going to say mid-table because that's a bit of a stretch, but let's say 12th, 13th for Brentford. You'll see them up there this season. They play good football. Thomas Frank's a good manager. And it's a good club, man. They have a nice system as well. I don't think they'll sell Ivan Toni, but it's a good club with money because they know how to sell, and then they go find another gem. They've done it with Neil Mope. They've done it with Ollie Watkins, and now Ivan Toni. So, like, they've got a decent infrastructure, a decent plan. Brentford are a good team. Expect them to be here in the Premier League for a long time. But what is it? It's international break coming. So no Premier League football for a week, which is jarring. But you got, I think it's Nations League semi-finals. So I think, yes, and then obviously some qualifiers as well. So, international break, some people like it, some people hate it. Is what it is. We've got international break and then back to the Champions League, back to the Premier League, into the thick of it before the rundown to Christmas. I don't think there's any other international breaks before Christmas. I'm not too sure, but I'll check. But thank you for watching another episode of the Undiluted Football Show. You can follow me at Toni Afoke. You can like, share, subscribe, and share with your friends on the Undiluted Football Show. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Have a like, leave a comment. Tell me who you support. Tell me if I should get onto your team even more. And yeah, if you want to join us, please let us know. Speak to us and we'll see if we can get guests on. We would love to interact with you guys. It's been your boy Toni Afoke. Until next time, people.